Welcome to the second lecture in this lecture series introducing the Code of Manu. Here we provide some preliminary remarks on the authorship of the Manusmriti. The title to the work, the Code of Manu, taken as it is, suggests either that the Manusmriti was written by Manu himself or it refers to the code as given by Manu but penned by another or others, such as a narrator. This dilemma is clarified as soon as one reads the first 4 verses of the work. Note that the translations in these lecture series are taken from Olivelle's work unless stated otherwise. The first verse of the code reads, Manu was seated, absorbed in contemplation, when the great seers came up to him, paid homage to him in the appropriate manner, and addressed him in these words. This implies that some great sages approached Manu. What did they ask Manu is answered by the second verse. Please, Lord, tell us precisely and in the proper order the laws of all the social classes as well as of those born in between. But why did the great sages ask Manu of all persons is answered by the third verse. For you alone, Master, know the true meaning of the duties contained in this entire ordinance of the self-existent one, an ordinance beyond the powers of thought or cognition. The fourth verse says, So questioned in the proper manner by those noble souls, that being of boundless might paid honor to all those great seers and replied, Listen. And then Manu begins his narration. So these introductory verses answer our dilemma. The work is a narration of what is stated to be Manu's views. But who was this narrator? Not much is known about the narrator. The invocatory verse to the code concerns the narrator and says, To the self-existent one, to Brahman of boundless energy, I pay homage as I set out to promulgate the diverse and eternal laws proclaimed by Manu. The narrator in the invocatory phrase uses the term I, unlike many other phrases in the code where the narrator comes to the fore in a subtle manner. On this, Olivelle unequivocally says it is spurious, although it was an odd addition to the code after Medhatithi's commentary. Olivelle's conclusion rests on the ground that Medhatithi refers to the second verse in his commentary as Dvitiya Sloka. Medhatithi says, the second verse describes what the sages said to Manu after having approached and worshipped him. Note that had this invocatory phrase been there, Medhatithi would have referred to it as the third phrase or verse. So goes Olivelle's argument. It may be noted that in the commentary on the first verse, Medhatithi talks about the first 4 phrases in the following manner. The first 4 verses describe the fact of the treatise being the work of a highly qualified author. But then the question is, what if there was an invocatory phrase, but Medhatithi did not consider or think that the invocatory phrase should be commented upon? Another question is, during the time of Medhatithi, was there a practice for Bhasyas or commentaries to contain commentary on the invocatory phrase as well? Another relevant question would be, was there a practice of including the invocatory verse in the verse count? All these questions would have a bearing on the appropriateness of the conclusion of Olivelle. Medhatithi, it may be noted, was one of the earliest commentators of the code and is said to have lived somewhere between 820 to 1050 CE. Medhatithi refers to the narrator as the teacher, but we do know nothing about the narrator. With this, we complete the second lecture of this lecture series. We will examine another interesting question in the next few lectures. Who was Manu? Till we meet, goodbye and stay safe.